for me, like, I don't know how other people do it, but for me, it takes probably an extra, like, couple hours to turn a regular dragon into, like, a themed... Good job! Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a great day, a great time. It's been a long time since I've filmed, and we're going to try to be more consistent. I live in Texas, and I really, really want to film when I'm at my markets, especially because we've been doing a lot more markets lately. But it is so hot sometimes that I just can't. So I got a new tripod. I'm hoping that helps, like, motivate me even in the heat of Texas summer during outdoor markets to actually film. So let's all hope that I'm going to be better about that. Honestly, it's also so hard. I'm sure everyone who has a small business feels this way. Like, in order to be super successful with your small business, I feel like you have to be a content creator, which is really difficult. I know a lot of people struggle with that same dynamic from, having a small business. But it's so hard to balance, like, oh, I should just work versus, well, I should really film working, or I should film content, or I should clean my house, or, I should, do stuff with the family. And it's a really hard dynamic to balance. I'm sure a lot of other people are feeling that as well. But yeah, like I struggle with that this morning. I'm like, we're getting ready to leave for a wedding. I'm so excited. But we're getting ready to leave for a wedding here. Oh my goodness. In like 2 days, we're leaving for a wedding, and we just got home. We just got home from a family vacation that was scheduled for ages. We got home like less than a week ago. So, and we've had like Father's Day and 3 birthdays all within the past like 2 weeks. And obviously the trip, then we just got home. We had a market this weekend, and we're leaving for this wedding in a couple days. And it's just been crazy. But I was like, you know what? If I don't start filming, I won't start filming. Like, I got to get back in the habit. So I'm trying to not care as much about the background or whatever, or what I look like. Like, this is just me, what I look like. This is what I look like when I'm just sitting down crocheting and hanging out with my family. My kids could be busting out that door any second. They're in there playing together so peacefully. But yeah, so I thought I would bring you along I'm working on a dragon. I'm starting a dragon, one of those really nice and big ones. And I really like big projects lately. Like, the big projects are giving me a lot of motivation and stuff. Like, doing the little stuff right now is where I'm having a hard time, which is hard because if you do markets, I'm sure like, the little stuff is where you're making most of your money. Okay, I do not remember where I was at, but I am going to try to multitask, and hopefully my microphone is on. You will probably pick up kids in the background every now and then because I have kids. But I'm going to try to multitask and work on this dragon while telling you about the market. And I've taken notes about previous markets. So I think I want to try to go back in time and talk about different markets, over the past couple months, because we've done a lot of markets and a lot of stuff has happened during these markets. So hopefully I can be able to work on this project and also be able to talk to you at the same time. So let's get into this. So we did a very small market on Saturday. Well, it's a small market compared to what we usually do. Usually we like to do the big festivals that go for like 3 or 4 days in our area. And this is a reoccurring Saturday only farmers market. And it only goes for like 5 hours. I'm already losing track of what I'm doing. So, but it only goes for like 5 hours. And we've done it several times with my husband's business, Americomics, with the comic books and the collectibles and stuff like that. Like I said, yeah, we've done it many times as Americomics, but this was the first time that I was bringing my crochet stuff. And so I kind of had like really high hopes for it. When we've done Americomics markets there, like it's pretty common to make over $200. Like $250, $260. I think the last time we did it as Americomics, we made over $300. And that's pretty good, I feel like, for, you know, just like a few hours of a market. And especially for Americomics, because so much of his stuff is like lower dollar. So like he might make, oh, I forgot to turn my little light on. I don't know if this is actually going to help, but let's find out. I think it helps a little bit. So he has to make a lot more sales than I do as Not Your Grannies in order to, you know, get the higher prices, because okay, my other phone died, so we're switching, or it didn't die, ran out of storage. So my wonderful father is letting me borrow his phone to film on. And like I said, my kids are over here eating, so there might be some background noise, but we will get through this together. So the market, yes, I was saying we've done it as Americomics several times, and I feel like it's good. It's only like 15 minutes away from our house, and it's only a $40 booth fee, which I feel like is really good, and it's at a park. So it has like a lot of natural foot traffic because parents are, you know, they bring their kids to this park all the time. It's a well-established park. So, and it's in our hometown, which is nice. Like this is our preferred place to be for like festivals and everything. For $40 booth fee, I feel like making $250 or $300 is really good, especially for Americomics, because he doesn't have to make all of his merchandise. He curates it more like a boutique, so he'll, you know, buy comics. He does have to do like background work, if that, so to speak, because he has to price every single comic out. He'll buy mystery lots sometimes and have to sit there and like research every single comic, and not just the comic, but the cover, like, you know, because comics, I hope you can't hear the mower in the background. But so he does have to do work, you know, before he just brings stuff to market, because he has to research every single comic, but not every single comic, because comics have different prices based on the cover art, because they release what they call the A cover, then they have variant covers, and depending on the variant cover, literally, like, it'll be more expensive or less expensive based on how popular that variant was, or how popular the artist was or is now, or, you know, it ended up being a first appearance of a character that is now popular or whatever. So there's a lot of like behind the scenes work that he has to put in. Plus he has to bag and board every single comic to make sure that, you know, they stay safe and protected and everything. And so that he does put in work behind the scenes, but he doesn't have to physically make all his product. So I feel like, you know, especially hitting that $300 mark for a 5-hour market, and it being only 15 minutes away, and all that kind of stuff, is like a really good bar to hit. I really should have chosen an easier pattern that's more logical, because this one is proving to be very difficult to do while I'm trying to think of how the market went. Anyways, so this market, like I said, was the first time I brought my crochet stuff. We didn't bring any Americomics stuff. And honestly, I was bummed. Like one of my kids had gotten sick a couple days before the market. My husband was not feeling the greatest day of the market. So it was really hard to like load up and, you know, do all like the physical stuff of it. We do live in Texas. It is summer in Texas, so it is very hot. The winds were supposed to be crazy. Like the gusts were supposed to get up to 31 miles per hour, which I don't know how y'all feel about it, but like the wind is almost more stressful for me than the rain. Like being under the tent and having the sidewalls up, I feel like we can deal with the rain a little bit better, especially because if it's raining, there's also like less customers out, like they'll wait for the rain to stop or whatever. So it's kind of just like hunker down and wait for the bad rain to pass almost. But with the wind, there's still a lot of people out, and I don't know what it is, but I have had more damage, more product, like my plushies being damaged in wind than I ever had with rain. So maybe, like, I don't know, maybe I should be counting counting it like as a blessing that I haven't had my plushies drenched in a rainstorm, which I am happy about. Obviously never having to deal with that. I do have a vendor friend whose merchandise got completely soaked in rain during one storm when her tent like walked away from her merch overnight, because like I said, we do a lot of multi-day festivals where you have to leave your tent up and your merch out overnight. Now, because I'm paranoid about stuff like that, we never leave my plushies out. We always at least tear down to the point where my plushies are in totes and back in the bins in case there's rain, in case the tent collapses, in case the worst should happen. I've even gone so far as to take my plushies home during the night and bring them back the next day. That takes a lot of toll to be able to do that, because it's just so much more work to like, have to cart them and haul them and everything. So it is a lot of like physically exhausting work when you're already out there all day long in the heat and everything. But yeah, so I've never had to thankfully deal with my plushies getting drenched. But the thing that I've had to deal with is the wind blowing my plushies over. And I have an outdoor rug, and I cannot find it. I have not been able to find it for a year. I just need to buy a new one. I don't know what I did with it to put down. So like, because we've been in places where it's like parking lot where it's like asphalty, and if like the chenille yarn hits the asphalt, especially if it's white or like the velvet, it is almost impossible to like get those like looking good again, especially like during the day while you're there. Like there's been some plushies that I've just had to write off, but not too many. But especially like being there in the moment in the market, like with all I have is a lint roller on me, like it's hard to get those clean again. But anyway, so yeah, so I've struggled with the wind more than even the rain with problems. So back to this market. Oh my gosh, I'm so scatterbrained. Back to this market, it was supposed to be super, super windy. Gusts of up to 31 miles an hour. And we brought 3 cinder blocks. So we are pretty good about weighing our tent down. We have never had a tent blow away. We've never had a tent like, start to and we have to catch it or whatever. We learned very early, like I said, wind is like my kryptonite. So we learned very early how to weigh our tent down very well. So we use, and I mean, I guess I can give tips on that right now. What we do is we obviously have a tent, and we use straps. Like I see a lot of people using bungees or even zip ties. I have been next to vendors whose zip ties snap, because the zip ties, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's they are not like, your tent might be able to hold up to 300 pounds, or the weights might be, 100 pounds per leg or whatever it is. But if the zip tie can't hold it together, like we have been next to vendors whose zip ties have snapped and their weights literally like rolled away. We've been next to vendors who weigh it down by the bottom of the tent, around the bottom of the leg with zip ties or whatever, like the sandbag style where it's only around the bottom of the leg. And the tent will get a gust, blow up, and literally the leg now is hovering in the air because it's like the weight traps it. We've actually only lost one tent, and it was due to both of our neighbors on either side crashing in on us. Our tent did not move an inch during that horrible storm. Both of our neighbors moved so much that they collapsed on either side of our tent and broke our tent. Our tent did not move. And literally one was because, actually I think both of them were because the tent blew up and the weights allowed it to go up but not move. And they both the tents got stuck on their weights in this like upward tilted position. So then the next time that the wind, like eventually their legs snapped and crushed our tent. I can try to remember to put in a picture here. I've talked about that before, I think. But so what we do and have always done, probably my dad is the one who came up with this, or my husband, I don't know. They thought this through well, and we've been doing it pretty early on. Like I want to say the first year of vending, we figured out how to do this and we've never looked back. So what we do is we use cinder blocks because they're heavy. They're easy to transport. I mean, they're not easy because they're heavy, but like there's like other things that are more difficult to transport, I feel like. And I know an issue with like sandbags is they can literally lose sand over time, so they're getting lighter. You might not realize it, whatever. Anyway, we use concrete cinder blocks. We know how much they weigh. Like we know if if there's a cinder block on that leg, it's between 30 and 35 pounds. They're easy to strap down because they've got holes in them. And if it's really windy, we can just bring more of them. So for this market that was supposed to be super windy with the high gusts, we brought 10 cinder blocks to strap our tent down with. And we also do not attach them to the bottom of the leg. We use straps that are made for like the truck straps. Again, I'll try to put a picture in of how we do it. And we strap them around the leg and the cinder blocks at the bottom, and then we loop them around the top of the tent, the metal bars at the top of the tent. So that way, the top of the tent is what's weighed down, if that makes sense, not the bottom of the leg. I hope that makes sense. It makes a difference. I never would have thought it made a difference when I first started, but seeing so many people's tents literally just go right up through through all of their weights, and then get stuck on the weights, or the zip ties snap, or like whatever. And also the problem with bungees is I see a lot of people using bungees. The bungees have give. They stretch. So either you are stretching it to its max, and I feel like it's really hard to find where the max is with bungees, like, because you can get bungees that are graded to hold a lot of weight. But the other problem with bungees is if it's not stretched to its absolute max, that wind is going to come and it can stretch it. And all it can take is like one gust or a couple of gusts for stuff to happen. How I've seen tents walk, they'll still have their weights. They'll still have their weights attached, their bungees attached, everything. But their tent will literally walk a little bit, and now your product is getting damaged, or the stuff inside your tent is getting knocked over because your tent is literally walking. And I think that's how it happens, because the bungees have just enough stretch to maybe make it walk, unless you're doing it really carefully, if that makes sense. And I feel like it's just harder with bungees than it is with straps. You can still do it well with bungees, I should say, but I just feel like it's harder. Whereas straps, when it's tight, you crank it until it's taut, So anyways, we use straps. You do it to the top, not just around the bottom. Again, we like to use the cinder blocks just because we know exactly what the weight is. They're rectangles, so they're not too difficult to transport and stuff like that. But anyways, So that's all to say, it was supposed to be super windy at this market, and it was supposed to be, and it's a pretty open area because we're by a park. So it's a very open area. So I was a little worried about the wind, given that Michael's feeling, kind of like, I don't know if he's got like a summer cold, or honestly, maybe his allergies. He has really, really bad allergies. So maybe that's what it was. But he was having, he wasn't feeling the greatest. We have so much going on right now. And so we go into the market, and we set up, and we have so many cinder blocks, which also, takes it out of you to like carry and set up all that weight and stuff like that. And with this market, we used to be able to drive right up to the spot on the grass, and that has been completely banned because I think there was damage to the grass in some area or whatever. So completely banned, no cars. So you have to haul everything to your spot. Our spot wasn't too far away. Like, I don't know, it was fine. But again, it was just like exhausting. And, I definitely did not bring enough water. Like, that was such an oversight. I was so thirsty. I went through the water I brought in like the first hour before like the market even opened, because we always like to get there in the earliest slot. So the market starts at 9. And they have like 30-minute slots of when you can come in and load in. And we always pick the first one, which is 6:30 to 7. And we ended up getting there even before I think we got there at like 6:15. Just because we were like awake and like, why not? And so we were set up really early. And again, like I said, I was really, really had high hopes for my crochet, because I'd never brought my crochet to this market before, but my crochet does really well in this town. So I was really having high hopes. I was like, and we like need the money. We need the extra money right now, given that we just came off of our like big vacation. This is like the first big vacation we've taken in years. We just came off of that vacation. We did good on our spending plan on that vacation. Like, we didn't overspend. Like, I'm really proud of us. But our car broke down during the road trip. So that was a huge expense that we were not planning on. And then we have to get home, turn around, and go to my nephew's wedding, which we're super excited about. But it's actually the makeup nurse's son's wedding that we're going to. The makeup nurse is my sister. I'll try to figure out how to tag her. But yes, she is my sister. Love her. And it's her son's wedding that we're traveling to. So we're doing a lot of traveling. And it's like, we could really use a nice little market, payday. It'd be really nice to have a little, little extra cash in our pocket for this other road trip, because stuff just happens on road trips. Like, you can plan it. And again, on this last one, we did really good. Like, I packed huge coolers. I think we had like 2 or 3 coolers. We had food and drinks and all this stuff. We pre-made all this stuff, and we did really good about sticking within our budget, but stuff just happens, like you forget to pack shampoo and toothpaste, and my daughter, we ended up having to run out and get pull-ups because she's been doing really well, but with the road trip, things were weird, and we needed to get, you know what I mean? Like, stuff just happens where it's like you need to buy stuff you wouldn't be buying if you were at home, if that makes sense. So like, anyways, yeah, so we really wanted this market to do well, to help us pay for that those repairs on the car and everything. And the first few hours go by of this market, when I tell you nothing was moving, I was texting my vendor friend. She was at a different market. I was like genuinely upset. This was on track to be the worst market I have ever had, including my very first market that I ever did in my life, where I had like 1.5 tables of hardly anything, and like the like cheap plastic tablecloths, like the party tablecloths from Walmart. Like, I had nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first market ever. This market, where I had a good showing of a lot of my stuff, like I had my best sellers stocked. My booth was looking good. And that this market was on track to be my worst market ever. It was so discouraging. I was like, what is going on? And again, it wouldn't have gotten to me because I'm usually very good about being realistic and not letting things get me down when I've been stuck on this because I have to count my stitches. So I'm gonna pause that and do that real quick. I counted my stitches. I've been historically very good about not letting things get me down if like a market doesn't go as well as I wanted it to or whatever. Like I really am very realistic, like, hey, this just wasn't my market or, you know, whatever. Like, I don't let it get to me because I have had many, many successful markets and I'm very grateful for it. And honestly, I've had more successful markets than like I ever should have, to be perfectly honest. Like the whole, oh, you don't make money in your first year of opening a business or the first 3 years, whatever. Like, no, we have been so blessed with this crochet business. It has helped our family immensely. It has, you know, brought us extra income when we needed it and stuff. And this just was so disheartening because I was really expecting to do well. And we needed it. We needed it right now to pay off the car repairs. And they told us that we need a whole new set of tires before we took the last road trip. But like we had a little life left in them. So like, we're like, we'll get back and we'll save, you know, we'll save up and we'll get new tires. And it's like, well, we still need new tires even though we had our car breakdown. So anyways, we really needed this to do well. And it was not doing well. And not only was it not doing well, it took us like 2 hours to make back our booth fee of $40. I'm like, what? We just did all this work and we just broke even at this point. Like, and we're miserable because it's so windy. I'm so stressed. Michael is not feeling well. Yeah, it was a rough morning. This is only like a 5-hour market, like I said. We get to hour like 3 in the market. Again, we've made $15 at this point, like, you know, after the booth fee. So we've barely made any money. I was so upset. My dad called, was like, how's it going? And usually I'm all like, oh, it's going great. Or, oh, and like the other thing was, not only were we not like selling hardly anything, and it not going well, but it was like none of the interactions were good either. Like, you know how you have those interactions where they just like feed your soul? It's like somebody was like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. Oh, I need it. Oh, you know what? Like, there were no like good interactions either. Like, there were no bad interactions, but it was just so laissez-faire. You know, everything was just like, oh yeah, like little kid comes up, wants like a fidget. It's like, you know, mom's like, okay, fine, you can get one. Like, you know, just really mid. And it was just so confusing and disheartening. And then literally in the last 2 hours of the market, things just took off. Like, we had like one family come in and really like, you know, get excited. We had the good reactions. They let each of their daughters pick out like a thing. And it was like, oh, good. We made a little bit of money. Like, those were like some good, anyways, it ended up picking up in the last 2 hours of the market, which I was very, very grateful for, but was not really expecting. And, we ended up making, just over $400, which is crazy which is good. Like, that beat my goal. Like, I was like, I would be thrilled if we made $500, but as long as we make like 3, I'll be happy. And because I've seen how Michael does there, I really was expecting to do better than he does, because I think he does better at like the big festivals that have the tons of foot traffic. Because he, like I said, a lot of his stuff is lower dollar. So he has to make a lot more like number of sales to match mine, because I don't have the low dollar stuff. Like, you know, other than our like little fidgets and bookmarks, which are, you know, just like a really side part of my business. My cheapest items are typically like my $15 shelf, you know? So, whereas like I said, his cheapest items are going to be more around like the $3 to $4. He has a lot of $3 to $4 to $5 items. So, yeah. And it's just, so anyway, so it was crazy. We did end up doing well. I'm so grateful. We made over $400, and like, that doesn't cover the cost of the repair, obviously, though I think the cost of the repair was like $1,200. It definitely helped a lot. And then, so we made over $400 at the market. We were tearing down. We were dead. We were not feeling well. I was so thirsty. Like, my mouth was like sandpaper. My kids had come for like the last hour of the market, which was a pick-me-up in and of itself. Like, I was like, yay, you guys are here. They actually stayed to help us tear down because they're the sweetest little things of all time. I had a mushroom dragon, I have a mushroom dragon. I'm going to call it a medium-sized mushroom dragon. It's the Little Will pattern from Loops and Knots Crochet. Pictures will be put in here. I got a comment on one of my previous videos. Again, I'll try to put it in here. Saying, oh my gosh, I saw this dragon at the market today. I loved it. How much is it? I want it. And I'm like, stop. There's some confusion. This dragon is not the same as this dragon. So the picture that the woman was commenting on was of my Elvira dragon that I themed into a mushroom dragon, okay? But it was the Elvira dragon pattern, which is a big dragon. And I made it in demi pearl, so it was a big dragon. The dragon you saw at the market was the Little Will pattern, also themed like a mushroom dragon, but it's like a mid-size dragon. And I'm like, those are not the same. So I said, I was giving her the pricing of the one I currently have, the one she actually saw. And she was like, and I thought, I'm like, I know it's a pricier thing. Like, cause it takes a lot of time, but also, the detailing, to turn it from like all these like mid to big dragons do take work. There's a lot of sewing, all that stuff. But to then theme it to like the mushroom dragon, it takes like an extra, for me, like, I don't know how other people do it, but for me, it takes probably an extra like couple hours to turn a regular dragon into like a themed, but yeah, it takes quite a bit of extra work to like turn it into a themed dragon, like the mushroom dragon. Or I just saw Loops and Knots released, she turned a dragon into a honeybee dragon, and that was going to be my next big dragon. I already told my husband, I'm like, I'm bringing the yarn on this road trip. It might not be the most like responsible thing. I should probably be making like tons of littler stuff, but I'm making a honeybee dragon because it was beautiful and I need it. I need to make it. It was, oh my gosh, it's such a good idea. I love Loops and Knots. Man, I hope I'm getting that name right. It sounds weird every time I say it. I love her. I watch every single one of her videos, and I love her dragons, obviously. And it's like, she is a genius child, and I want to make that honeybee dragon. Anyways, so I know the price is a little high, especially for like the dragons with the theming and stuff. And again, if you don't get it, you don't get it, and that's fine. I did sell my big mushroom dragon. I thought I made him for dreamers and readers as like an event special, because I thought like the cottagey dragon would do so well there. And obviously, if you see my other videos, dreamers and readers was canceled at like the last minute, and so on and so forth. I was like, you know what, it's fine. Like, I love having at least one big dragon on my booth to like draw people in, and then they usually buy the smaller dragons. I'm like, so I'm fine with having this big, beautiful mushroom dragon as my mascot forever. And he sold at, I don't know if it was it wasn't the last big festival I did, but at one of the big festivals this year, he sold. This awesome British guy walked up and he was like, I love it. Or my wife, I think he bought it for his wife. Like, as soon as she walked away, he's like, Mary, bag it up for me. Like, I'll be back for it. Do it all secret like. So anyways, but yeah, so the big mushroom dragon did sell, which I was kind of surprised about, because they are expensive, because they do take a lot of time. But anyways, so, I told her the price of the medium mushroom dragon, the Little Will, let's call him the Little Will mushroom dragon. And she was talking about the longer one, the Elvira one, and I was so surprised. She did not want to buy the Little Will Mushroom Dragon. She has commissioned me to make an Elvira. So I am in the process of making another really long mushroom dragon. She was okay with the price, which I'm very grateful for. Like, I'm always grateful when people are, you know, appreciate my art so much that they're like, yeah, like, let's do it. So anyways, and she's so sweet. We were messaging back and forth a lot, and she's so sweet. I'm so excited to be making this dragon for her. And she wants me to put a little weight in the belly, and I'm like, he's already a big boy, but if you want the weight, I will put it in there. So this is gonna be my first time doing poly pellets, although she had such a good idea. She wants me to put some in the tail too, like in the very tip of the tail, and I think that's a really cute idea. It'll be kind of squishy. I literally might only put pellets in there because that's like a, for the Elvira dragon, that's like a sealed thing. The tip of the tail is like a sealed thing in and of itself. So I could literally, it's going to be like a little like beanie baby right at the end of the tail. That's my kids clapping for something. But anyways, so yeah, I'm super grateful and excited to be making this dragon. She helped me design it. So she didn't want just like a carbon copy of my last dragon, which I like. I like making things different. So she picked out different fur and she picked out different fur, different eyes. And once we get there, like once I have the body done, I'm going to give her options. I'm going to give her options of the wings, because I think she might want something different with the wings and stuff. So this is all I have left of the spagum. I don't know if that's pronounced right. From Demi Pearl. So I'm definitely going to have to be running out to get some more of this. But my goal is to get the head and the body of the dragon done before I leave for my road trip. So that way on the road trip, I can do all the stuff that doesn't require stuffing as you go. Like all the legs, the wings, the horns, the end of the tail, all that kind of stuff. So if I can get the head and the body done before I go, I can work on all the accents while I'm gone. And when I get back, I can put it all together into a masterpiece of cottagecore goodness. So anyways, yep, that's what I'm working on right now. And because I got this custom order, because that was so many becauses, sorry. We went to the festival. I am counting this into what we made at the market. Oh my gosh, I'm so scatterbrained. We made just over $400 at the market, which I was happy with, especially with how things were going the first couple hours. I was very, very thrilled with that number. Contacted me the day of the market. Like the market ended at 2, and she contacted me that night. We agreed on everything. Like we texted a lot for a couple hours, and we, she agreed on everything, like what she wanted to do and everything. She put half down. Like I asked for a deposit, and I said, for a big plushie, I do a 25% deposit. And she goes, can I just put half down? Like, I don't know if she like just got paid and was like, oh, half now, half later, that'll be more manageable, whatever. She wanted to put a half down. So, because of that, that's in the total. So I don't know how much I made at the market because that's in my square, like I could do math. Apparently I can just do some math here. So I charged $145 for my Elvira mushroom dragon that had sold. That sold for $145. So I already knew like how much, like with custom orders, it's hard because it's like, oh, I don't know exactly like how much material. Like this one I knew because she pretty much wants the same thing. Like she wants some different colors and stuff, but that's fine. It's the same, it's pretty much the same thing. So it was $145. She paid, let's just say $75, or $74, whatever it was. So we took in, after the square fees and stuff, $507. So 507 minus 74. We made $433 at the market, but because she ordered this because of the market, I'm adding that in. So $507 is what I took into my account that day because she paid half. But I will be getting the other half of this dragon when it's done. I'm going to count that towards the market. So let's just say I made $580 at the market, because when she pays for this, I'm going to count it towards that day, since she wouldn't have ordered it if she hadn't been at the market and saw the other one. Does that make sense? Man, I feel scrambled eggs brain. I feel scrambled right now. So anyways, it ended up being a phenomenal market. 500 was my like dream goal. I'm like, if I could make 500 at this market, it would be like floating on cloud 9 for a short market that's close to our house, that is only a $40 entry fee. Like, oh, and somehow we like beat that, and I cannot believe it. I'm so grateful. It's amazing. I'm incredibly happy. It was a difficult day. Like, I do not take naps. We came home from that. We like came back like limping and like dead from that, because of like the heat and the wind and the exhaustion. And I guess we were all just kind of like, I don't know, allergies or whatever it was. Like, I never really got sick or anything. So I don't know if, like, I think my son might be getting my husband's allergies, and my husband has bad allergies. Like, they will knock him down a few times a year. And so I don't know if that's what it was, because like I never got it. I've been fine, but like it that market took it out of us. I came home, we got the 3D printed stuff out of the car, because again, Texas summer, car very hot. And I don't want any of my 3D printed stuff to like warp. I call it mine. It's my son's. But I don't want any of it to warp. I've done that once where I left the bookmarks in the car for a while, and they literally like, with the heat in a Texas summer car, like they like started to like bend. They're fine at the market, but like inside a closed car, it gets way hotter. So anyway, so we were able to get the 3D printed stuff out of the car, and we did not unpack the car. We just came in, I washed my hands and just collapsed, and I like slept for an hour, which is so unlike me. It was so weird. I chugged a bottle of water, then collapsed. That's what happened. And then I woke up and I was like, okay, now I need food. I'm hungry. But anyways, I am so incredibly grateful for this market, for my customers who appreciate my stuff. Like, it was a really lovely, it was a rough day. It was hard, but it turned out to be such a blessing. And, especially this lovely lady who ordered my mushroom dragon that I'm so excited to make for her. And I hope it's like everything, you know, that she is expecting and wanting and everything. I'll have to throw in a little, I'll have to throw in some cute little surprises for her, because she is a reader, and because she started talking to me about some books and stuff like that. Because again, she commented on the post of my mushroom dragon, which was originally made for dreamers and readers. So she was talking to me about that a little bit. So I know she's a reader, so I can throw in some goodies for her that I never got to take to dreamers and readers. That's what I've been doing with, like, I printed out like special stuff from like ACOTAR and Fourth Wing and you know, stuff like that. I had my son print out like special things, and I've made some special things like that are specifically for reading, or again for like specific like bookmarks. Like we have like one bookmark that says like looking for my resand in a world full of tamlins, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Also rysand, I don't know how to say it. I say resand. I used to say rysand in my head when I was reading it, until they shortened it to Reese, and I kept reading it as Reese. So then now I call him Resand in my head. So anyway, if y'all have any opinions on that, you can let me know down below. Like, how do you actually pronounce his name? I don't know. I should have listened to the audiobook instead of reading it. Then I would probably know all their names. But anyways, so yeah, I can throw in some little freebies in there because I know she'll appreciate that because she's a reader of the fantasy genre. But anyways, I have been not working on this at all because I've been talking too much. I don't know why I thought this head has so much shaping right in the beginning. I don't know why I thought I could talk and make this at the same time. Like, talking while making something is for, like, you know, the tail where you just have 20 rounds or something. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this very scrambled, chatty video of how our market just did. Oh, best sellers from the markets. I was shocked to say not my $15 rack. I thought my $15 rack would get demolished because it is my cheapest crochet stuff on my booth. And it usually does well, especially like little kids come in and their parents are like, okay, well, you can pick one thing off of the $15 rack is usually, you know, what the thing is. But, and my dragons are also usually a bestseller. Dragon's not a bestseller. And my cats were my bestseller this past weekend. So, I'm kind of relieved because usually before, like after every market, before every market, it's always like, I got to make dragons, which I love to make, like the littler dragons, which I love to make those, but it is a little relief, or it is a little bit of a relief to like, be like, okay, I still have some of those. Now I get to make cats. So many cats, which I like because I have that pattern memorized, and that is something that's going to be perfect to take on the road trip because I can like make it all in one sitting and then just stuff it and close it up when I get home. And I have extra cats to make because I have a little surprise for the kiddos going to the wedding this weekend, my nephew's wedding. I am going to bring my Adopt-A-Kitty setup where you get to pick out, you know, like the cat bed, the cat toy, the little cat, and get your adoption certificate. I'm going to bring that whole setup to the wedding and let the kiddos pick out, you know, to adopt a cat. I thought that'd be cute and, you know, give the kids something to do while the parents are trying to celebrate the wedding and everything. So, and my kids, I just started doing the cats not too long ago, and both my kids wanted a cat. And I mean, especially my daughter wants everything that I make, but every now and then I'm like, okay, you get to pick something. What do you want me to make you? You know, and oh yeah, I said that before our trip. We took a trip to Florida as like our vacation, and I said we have not done a big vacation like that in years. And so I said, hey, I will make you whatever you want. Like we were going to go to Disney World, and I was like, if you want a princess, if you want, you know, like my daughter's been obsessed with Chewbacca. I'm like, so I know she was trying to decide between like a princess, a Chewbacca, maybe a Grogu was on the list. Now I can't remember what was all on her list. But she was trying to decide. My son was thinking about maybe a Donald. Donald has been like his favorite character lately. Maybe someone from Star Wars he was thinking too. I don't remember. But they both ended up, after I started making the cats, they were both like, you know what? We want to adopt a cat. That's what they both wanted. I was like, really? Okay. If that's what you want. So I was going to make it before this last. I actually did make their cats to their specifications before our road trip. But then when they heard me tell my husband that I was going to bring the Adopt-A-Cats to the wedding, and let all the kids adopt their cats, and then they can all play with them and stuff, and I thought it would be cute. After my kids heard me tell that, they're like, we want to wait to adopt our cats with everyone else. So I'm going to make sure I have a couple each. Excuse me. So I'm going to make sure that I have a couple each of their exact specifications. My daughter wants a white face with the, pink cat with a white face with pink eyes, or the purpley pink eyes that I have. And my son wants the blue cat with the white face with blue eyes. I don't remember. I'll ask him again. But I'll make sure I have a couple of each of those because I was surprised. I was just making like the white cats, brown, orange, tabby, you know, like the more realistic colored cats. My kids were the ones who like forced me to make blue and pink cats, and the blue and pink cats sell. Like, I was kind of surprised, but those ones do sell well. So I will make sure I have plenty of those to choose from, because I don't want to take these to the wedding and then the other kids choose the ones that my kids really wanted. So I'll make sure I'm going to have, I think there's only going to be, oh, I don't know how many kids there's going to be. I'll get the final count for my sister. But I will definitely have like double or triple the amount of cats, just so like nobody's disappointed with the cat they get to choose. Plus it'll just be good because I'll need cats when I get home anyway. So whatever, obviously, I'll just have plenty of leftovers, so that'll be good. But anyways, yep, I think that's all I have for you today. And I can't wait to show you when I'm done with this dragon. That'll be lots of fun. But thank you so much for listening and sitting and hopefully crocheting along or doing something productive, or, you know, just resting, because that's important too. But anyway, thank you. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.